Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Samapprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. अस्मत् गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। नमस्ते everyone once again.
नमस्ते।
नमो नमः महोदय।
नमो नमः।
नमस्ते गुरुजी।
नमस्ते नमस्ते। Okay. So we are in mantra number 216. I don't know why some throat is giving me trouble suddenly. Till now it was okay, but suddenly some slight irritation. Doesn't matter, no matter. Okay.
Weather change it.
Probably, yeah. So sixth mantra we will chant. Tasmadricha samayaju gumshi
तस्मादृचः सामयजो गुंषि
कंचे
दीक्षा यज्ञाश्च सर्वे
दीक्षा यज्ञाश्च सर्वे
क्रतवो दक्षिणाश्च
क्रतवो दक्षिणाश्च
संवत्सरश्च यजमानश्च लोकाः
संवत्सरश्च यजमानश्च
लोकाः
सोमो यत्र पवते यत्र सूर्यः
सोमो यत्र भवते यत्र सूर्यः।
Good. So we are discussing the bhashyam of this mantra, which is presenting another aspect of the creation, stating that all the accessories required for karma, especially Vaidika karmas in the form of the three Vedas, are born out of Ishvara. And also, all the disciplines which are ordained for the performance of the rituals, all the types of dakshinas to be given, all the types of dhanams to be given, which are also accessories of the ritual, are born out of Ishvara alone. The mantra also mentions other components of the rituals like samvatsaraha, essentially the time prescribed for the performance of rituals, yajamanaha, the performer of the rituals, the Svargaloka and Brahmaloka, which are the results, the karma phala, are also born of Ishvara alone. In short, The karmas and everything, every aspect related to the karmas are born of Ishvara alone. This is the gist of what this mantra wants to convey. The idea is for us to understand that everything is born of Ishvara. And towards the end of the last class, we were discussing the Bhashyam, explaining the differences between the three Vedas, namely Rig, Sama, and Yajur Vedas. Rig mantras are those metrical verses which have got line ending with specific number of letters and specific number of lines also. And I told you there are several meters like Gayatri, Ushnik, Anushtup, Drishtup, Brihati, etc. Then Sama mantras are characterized by music. A mantra which is set to music is called Sama mantra. And Bhashyakara highlighted one important aspect of Sama mantras, which is the usage of stoba, which are certain letters or sounds used for chanting. These sounds and letters have no meaning, but they are used for chanting. So they are not useless words, but have no meaning. Then he explained two types of Sama mantras, Pancha Bhaktikam Sama, Sapta Bhaktikam Sama. And I briefly explained these two types without going into the details, because details are not important to us. Then the next word in the Moolam is Yajumshi. Yajugumshi is there. Actually, the gum is for pronunciation's sake. The word in Sanskrit is Yajumshi. Yajumshi is Yajur mantra. And what is the uniqueness of Yajur mantras? It does not have any specific number of lines or words in each line, no specific number of letters. So it is basically a prose form. Unlike Rig mantra and Yajur mantras, unlike Rig mantras, Yajur mantras can have different varied number of lines. And not only that, the number of letters in the lines can vary. They need not be uniform. We can have one sentence which is short, another one which is long. So as I said, in short, Yajur mantra is composition in prose form. And that is what Bhashyakara explains. Aniyatakshara padavasanani vakya rupani. Aniyatakshara means no specific number of letters in a word. And padavasanani, we have to read it as apadavasanani cha. And no specific number of lines in a sentence. There are no rules or restrictions in the compositions of the mantras. Such mantras are called Yajugumshi. Yajugumshi is the first case plural of Yajus, Shabda. Vakya Rupani means in the form of sentences. Yajur mantras. Even though Yajur mantras are not little bit difficult as compared to Rig mantras or Sama mantras to memorize, it is very easy to chant. And that is why probably the majority of the people today we find are from Yajur Veda. I'm not saying that Rig Vedis and Sama Vedis are not there, but comparatively they are far few in number as compared to Yajur Vedis. And in the next sentence, Bhashyakara says, Evam Trividahat Mantraha. In this manner, we have got the three groups of mantras forming the three Vedas, and all are born of Ishvara only. And Bhashyakara continues. The next word in the Moolam is Diksha. And what is the meaning of Diksha? We have already seen Diksha means specific disciplines to be followed by the Yajamana as well as the Ritvik at the time of performance of Yaga. The Yajamana has to take a vow. He will do what they call Pratisara Bandha, tying an yellow thread in the hand. Important rituals like Upanayanam, Vivaham, marriage, etc. This Pratisara Bandha is normally performed either before, one day before, or on the early, on the same day of the function, of the ceremony. And in addition to that, in the case of Upanayanam, etc., Maunji Bandhanam is also done. Maunji Bandhanam means some a belt is, made of grass, is tied to the waist of the would-be brahmachari. And once the Yajamana has taken up those disciplines, until the yaga is over, he has to follow certain rules and regulations. He has to switch off his mobile phones, first rule. He should not be distracted from what he is doing. Mind should be focused only on the rituals. And also there are rules. If he needs to do certain things, in what manner he is to do. For example, suppose he gets some itching in the body. Say in the back or somewhere, some itching. Sometimes it happens, right? He cannot itch with the fingernail because he is having a pavitram in the hand. Means the hands are very pure. He cannot afford to make them impure. So what they do, they use a special material for itching. And that is called Krishna Sara Vishanaha. What does this mean? There is a deer called Krishna Sara, which I think in English is called black buck. And its Vishanaha, the horns, they are to be brought, which the Yajamana has to keep handy. And he has to use that horns of that black buck only to get rid of the itching. And not only that, he has to follow one more rule. At the end of the yaga, he cannot just throw away that Vishanaha in a waste paper basket. How that is to be disposed of, also there are rules and regulations. All these things will come under Diksha. And that is why for pilgrimages like Sabarimalai, etc., people have to take Diksha, which includes very strict rules. The person should take bath twice a day. He should not shave for 40 days, grow a beard, mustache. He must be barefoot for 40 days. He has to do puja twice a day. There are many, many such rules which all will come under Diksha. for someone who has taken a vow to go on Shabarimala on foot. Of course, these days, whether everyone who goes to Shabarimala follows all these rules or not is a different matter. But the rules are there and they are part of the Shabarimalai Vratam. And therefore, Bhashyakara explains Diksha as Maunjyadi Lakshana hai, Kartru Niyama Vishesha hai. Maunjyadi Lakshana hai, a discipline characterized by tying the Maunji Bandhanam. As I said, Maunji is a girdle which is made out of Munja grass, which is tied around the waist of the boy in the case of Upanayanam and around the waist of the bride in the case of a marriage. And this is also part of the Vratam Kartru Niyama Vishesha hai. So such disciplines are to be followed by the Yajamana. And of course, it's not only Yajamana, the priest also has got certain disciplines to be followed while officiating in the yaga. In fact, in big yagas, there are rules about where the Yajamana should sleep, whether he can use pillow or not, which direction his head should face, etc. If you happen to ever study the Purva Mimamsa, Karma Kanda, the commentaries, you will come to know all these things. But they are not important so far as we are concerned. It's only an opportunity for us to slightly peep out of the Upanishad windows and to enjoy the scenery which is there in the Karma Kanda without going too much into details. Just a sort of a photographic view, you can call it. What is important to us is to understand that these Dikshas are also born out of Ishvara only. Because Vedas are born out of Ishvara, so the Dikshas which are part of the Vedas, they are also born out of Ishvara only. That we should not forget. Then the next one is Yajñascha Sarve in the Moolam. And Bhashyakara simply says, by now, all of you know about all these yajñas and all that. We have discussed this in 2-3 occasions previously. So he says, Yajñascha Sarve Agnihotradaya. All the rituals, Agnihotradaya means beginning with Agnihotra. As I said, we have discussed enough about Agnihotra ritual earlier, which is a Shrauta Karma. Agnihotra Adaya means all the Vedic rituals. And all these rituals are also Ishvara alone. Then Kratavaha. Kratavaha also means Vedic rituals only. Yajñascha is Vedic rituals. Kratavaha is Vedic rituals. Then you may ask, what is the difference between Yajña and Kratavaha? Bhashyakara says, Sayupaha. Yupaha is the name of a wooden post which is fixed in the Yagashala. And there are rules as to how to make the wooden post. It is said that a particular type of wood should be used. The post should be octagonal in shape. And where that post should be placed in the Yagashala is also prescribed. Now, what is the purpose of the post? The purpose of the post is that the animal which is to be sacrificed in the ritual is tied to that post only. And therefore, where there are Vedic rituals where animal sacrifices are involved, there this upaha will be used. Upaha will have to be fixed. And therefore, those Vedic rituals are called Sayupa Yajnaha. So, Sayupa Yajnaha are those rituals in which the wooden post is involved and when animal sacrifice is not involved. When animal sacrifice is not involved, that yajna is called Ayupa Yajna. Therefore, in the Vedas, there are two types of yajna which are prescribed. Sayupa Yajna are those rituals where the sacrificial post is to be installed. And Ayupa Yajna, Ayupa Karmani, where the sacrificial post is not required. So if you ask me what is the difference between Yajna and Kratavaha, Ayupa Karmani is called Yajna, Sayupa Karmani is called Kratavaha. Ayupa Karmani means where the post is not required to be fixed, there is no animal sacrifice. That is called Yajna. Where a ritual involves animal sacrifice, that is called Kratavaha. That is the difference. So this is the meaning given in Mundakopanishad. And Bhagavad Gita students will recall that these two words, Yajnaha, Kratavaha, occurs in Bhagavad Gita also in the 10th chapter. And there Bhashyakara gives a different meaning. There he says Kratuhu means Shrauta Karma, Yajna refers to Smarta Karma. It is not that they are different. All these are all definitions for Kratava and Yajna. Here he uses one set of definition. In Bhagavad Gita, he uses another set of definitions. The difference is interpretation from different standpoints. That's all. And now one incidental note. These days, when we hear about animal sacrifice, it disturbs some people. They consider it as a barbaric practice. Of course, it is a different matter that many of them will happily chop cows, goats, chicken, etc. and relish the taste. That for them is not a barbaric practice. But when it comes to Vedic rituals, they will say, oh, barbaric practice. Anyway, we have to note that there are Vedic rituals where animal sacrifice is a part of the rituals. Those rituals can be avoided because it is our choice. But if we choose to perform those rituals, in fact, these kind of rituals are still prevalent in some of the tribal communities in India. If you go to some tribal community, they've got a deity, a village deity or a deity for a cluster of villages. Every year they will have an annual, some ceremony for the deity every year. And in that animal sacrifice they do. And in fact, that animal sacrifice they do, they cook that, goat or whatever it is, which they sacrifice, and that is distributed as prasada to all the people who are attending the function, the temple function. And therefore, if we choose those specific to perform those specific rituals, then animal sacrifice has to be done as part of the rituals. And Bhashyakara does not have any qualms about all these things because he accepts those rituals because he accepts Veda as Pramanam. And therefore he claims that animal sacrifice in a Vedic ritual doesn't come under Himsa. If animal is hurt or killed outside the Vedic rituals, only for the purposes of your food, that is Himsa. But if it is a part of the Vedic rituals, it does not come under the definition of Himsa. Just as, war in the Bhagavad Gita, or for that matter, any legitimate war, in any dharmic war, killing does not come under Himsa. In fact, killing, as Krishna repeatedly tells Arjuna in the Gita, is a part of dharmic duty of Arjuna. And no papam will accrue because of that. Similarly, animal sacrifice is a Vedic ritual, is not considered to be Himsa. Of course, it's a controversial topic, and also it could emotionally be disturbing to some people. And therefore, there is no point in discussing, either go into too much of details or even openly, discuss all these things outside. This information we are getting because of our study of the Mundakopanishad. Our job is to understand when Bhashyakara says one thing in one commentary, gives another viewpoint in another commentary. We have to see and compare whether there is any conflict in what Bhashyakara is saying, or if he is accepting both the viewpoints and expressing them on what basis he does that. All that is for our understanding only. And therefore, wherever you get into some kind of a discussion about this animal sacrifice business and all, don't start a Mundakopanishad class there. If somebody is saying Vedic rituals are all, Himsa and all, you say, yeah, from your point of view, that is correct, and then keep quiet. Don't get into an argument. Don't try to explain Veda, Vedic ritual, etc. It is not going to help you at all in any manner. In fact, it will only increase your waste of time. So that is Yajnascha. Next word is Dakshinahacha. We know what is meant by Dakshinaha. In English, they translate it as sacrificial fee. It is not the fees given for performing the Vedic sacrifice. Bhashyakara says, Eka Gavadi Aparimita Sarvaswantaha. Eka Gavadi, beginning with one cow, as Dakshina in small rituals. Eka Gavam means one cow. Beginning with that, up to Aparimita Sarvasva. Aparimita Sarvasva Antaha. Sarvaswam means entire wealth. Swam means wealth. Sarvaswam means all wealth of the Yajamana. Aparimita means limitless. So the Yajamana has to give away all his possessions as Dakshina in this yaga. We may wonder, of course, If we give away everything, what will happen to me? In fact, in today's days, one thing is the priests who come to officiate in the Dakshina, they demand a certain amount of Dakshina. And on many occasions, both the Yajamana and the priest, they enter into a bargain. Priests are also looking at the economic status of the Yajamana, will quote the fees. All these things are all Kali Yuga, Lakshanas. But the point of view or what is said in the Vedas are non-negotiable. So there are certain rituals for which the Yajamana has to give away everything that he has got. All possessions he has to get rid of. Then only he will get the result, the karma phala. And we have a description of such sarvasva dakshina in Kathopanishad. The story in Kathopanishad begins with Nachiketa's father Vajasravas performing Vishwajit Yaga, in which one has to give all the wealth without any limit. That is in totality. So all the wealth, good, healthy cows, unhealthy cows, cows which cannot, bear any progenies or which cannot give milk, etc. They are all given away as dakshinas. Very interesting. The Kathopanishad starts with a very interesting story about what is the background because of which Nachiketas went to Yamaloka. We will see that story when we study Kathopanishad. What here we have to understand is all those dakshinas are also born out of Ishvara only. That Pallavi, that refrain, we should not forget. So the next word in the Moolam is Samvatsaraha. And as we have seen while we were seeing the word meanings of the mantra, Samvatsaraha literally means Varsha or year. Here Bhashyakara says Kala hai Karmanga hai. So Samvatsaraha represents the Kala Tattvam, the time principle. And why should the Upanishad refer to the time principle? Because we look upon time also as a karma angam, an integral part of karma. Because every Vaidika karma is associated with an appropriate kalam also. As I explained earlier, Sandhya Vandanam should be done during Sandhya Velayam, during the conjunctions of the day and night, and also morning and afternoon. See, there are people today, known to me personally, they do some of these rituals like Sandhya Vandanam and all. They don't understand what is the significance of that. Just because they have to do it, they do it. I know a person, and this is not an imagination, really a person, old person, of course, 80 plus. He wakes up around 10 a.m. in the morning. And he does Pratha Sandhya at 11 a.m. When it is the time to do Madhyanikam, the afternoon Sandhya. And the Sayam Sandhya, he does around 8 or 9 p.m. When the sun has already set and gone, night has come, and he has a late dinner. Obviously, given his age or maybe health condition and all, he cannot get up early. So he chooses this routine. Of course, there is one aspect. If doing this gives him some sort of a satisfaction, that is fine. We need not, criticize or anything. At least he's doing it. That is important. There are many people who don't even bother to do all these things these days. So that way he is better than others. But then, according to Shastra, because the Sandhya Vandanam karma, just to take a couple of minutes, there can be two types of results for Sandhya Vandanam karma. Because Sandhya Vandanam is a very composite, integrated karma. It is a karma involving words, physical activity, and mental activity. Oral activity, physical activity, mental activity. All three are integrated into one karma. There is Gayatri Japa meditation in that. The Arkhya Pradhan offering, oblations there. Oblations of water to all the Navagrahas, Devatas, etc. Then you do, Gayatri Japam meditation. And therefore, one benefit of that is, if you do it according to the Shastra, according to the what is ordained in the Shastra, you will get Punya Phalam. So you can add to the regularly, properly doing Sandhya Vandanam 3 times a day, you can add to your balance of Punya. That is one type of benefit. But then you are a sadhaka, you are a mumukshu. You are actually on a spiritual path towards Aham Brahmasmi. You say, no, I don't want punyam and all, I want chitta shuddhi. So if you do Sandhya Vandanam with that aim in mind, with that goal in mind, with gaining chitta shuddhi in mind, then performing Sandhya Vandanam karma will give you chitta shuddhi and will not add to your punya bundle also. And Gayatri Japam, if you do it regularly, properly, focused mind, will help you to improve, increase your concentration. And that is why Shastra says, if you do this at a particular times during the day, it is most effective, because at those times, if you perform the karmas and the times are connected to the changes which take place in the cosmos, at that time, if you perform the karmas, they give the maximum benefit. And that is why when we have eclipses and all that, there is a particular time during solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, when, tarpanam, etc. has to be performed. These are all shastric injunctions. And any karma, as I told you, two aspects we have to remember. Doing the karma with materialistic, goals in mind, or doing the karma as karma yoga, offering to Bhagavan and accepting what comes as karma phala. Other aspect of the karmas is doing all the karmas for chitta shuddhi. No material goal is being pursued. Any karma that you do, you can do a sankalpa. I am doing this karma for what? Chitta shuddhyartam, loka kshemartam, Parameshwara or Narayana Prityartham. I am doing this karma for pleasing the cosmic power, the highest of the cosmic power in the form of Shiva, Narayana, Parameshwara and Narayana. So that he does two things for me. He gives me chitta shuddhi and he also does lokakshemam. So that this is the second. For we mumukshus, the second is more important. Lokakshemam is important, Chitta Shuddhi is important. And that is why we have to, with that attitude, we do karma. After doing the karma, we say Brahmarpanam. And then accept, because there is no physical expectation or no expectation of material benefit. We will actually realize over a period of time how our mind is becoming clearer and clearer and clearer in our thinking, in our approach, in the how our mind and words are aligned in all our actions. Mind, words, and actions, how they are all aligned. Over a period of time, we will get all these experience. We will experience ourselves. The Chitta Shuddhi, as it keeps happening, things become, and this is what is the root for how to gain sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. People ask, this is the way you gain sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. When you do all these rituals with the total focus on Chitta Shuddhi and Lokakshemam. Lokakshemam means you are asking for benefit of all, the protection of everyone, not only me and my family. And we are appealing to the cosmic powers. So the timing of these rituals are all very important. Similarly, there are other slokas. They are not Vedic mantras. They are sloka Aditya Hridayam, Pratasmarami Stotram, etc. They should be chanted early in the morning, not when you like or when convenient. But on the other hand, there are no such prescriptions for slokas like Vishnu Sahasranama. You can chant Vishnu Sahasranama anywhere, in any form, or in any, even lying down on the bed also you can do that if you are sick. No rules for Vishnu Sahasranama. So different the scriptures contain different rules for different kinds of prayers, and we should follow all those things. Therefore, kala, time, is associated with karma, and if one violates kala, karma will not give full phalam. And that is why in many rituals at the end they have got a prayaschitta. Kaladita prayachittam karishye. A prayachittam especially done for violating the time. In fact, while doing Sandhya Vandanam, by chance, if it is a little, because Sandhya Vandanam morning, it is to be done before sunrise. These days, nobody does that. Hardly few people, because I cannot say nobody. Very few people do that. As you get older, it becomes difficult also to wake up early in the morning, 4 o'clock, 4:30, take your bath, and during the Brahma Muhurtam, suppose 6 o'clock is the sunrise time, you should finish your Sandhya Vandanam before that. Maybe difficult. So therefore, what do they do? When they do the oblation, they offer the oblations. One oblation is offered, Kala Dida Prayashchittak, for Kala Atita Prayashchittam, one oblation is offered for violating the time in which it is to be done. So that provision is kept in the it's a part of Vedas, because our Vedic rituals are so flexible that whenever they have ordained something which probably they foresee that everybody cannot follow it strictly all the time, some, what they call way out is given. That may not be a very big thing, but you cannot use the exception cases as a rule and then start doing that. And the idea of the Vedas is by giving this prayaschitta, arkyam, etc., at least it will encourage people to do it. Because then somebody say, oh, it is already 6:30, 7 o'clock, sunrise has come, I'm not going to do Sandhya Vandanam. They won't say that. At least, okay, 7 o'clock, doesn't matter. I will still do it. I will offer one Prayaschitta Argyam. That's all. So therefore, the first preference is doing at the right time. Second option is doing at the wrong time. And doing at the wrong time is better than not doing at all. And there is another aspect, those who are doing Sandhya Vandanam in the morning and evening, they do not do Madhyanikam because they are in the office or school or college at that time. And therefore, the Shastra provides, even though Madhyanikam typically has to be done when the sun is right above your head at the conjunction of the day and the afternoon. That is noon time. But Shastra says, if during that time it is difficult, you can do Madhyanikam along with Pratha Sandhya Vandanam. In fact, the Madhyanikam ritual consists of two rituals. One is Adityadi and Keshavadi Arghya Pradhanam, followed by prayers. And another is Brahma Yagyam, followed by Deva Rishi Pitri Tarpanam. All these are very important and can be done in the morning itself along with the Pratha Sandhya. Only thing is, offer one more Prayaschitartha Argyam for not adhering to the Vihita Kalam. And as I said, doing at the right time is the best thing. But doing at the wrong time is better than not doing at all. Then Yajamanaha. The most important aspect, one of the most important aspects of rituals, Yajamanaha. The one who is performing the ritual, Yajnakarta or Yagakarta. Bhashyakara says, Yajamanaha means just Karta, the doer of the ritual. And we should understand the difference between Yajamana and a Ritvik. In many instances, especially these days, when the Yajamana does not know the mantras nor the procedure, and even when he repeats after the Ritvik, there will be a lot of mistakes. And therefore, many instances, what the Ritvik does, he will take a power of attorney from the Yajamana through a prescribed procedure and perform the rituals on behalf of the Yajamana. And in this case, in such cases, it is the Yajamana who will get the karma phalam and not the Ritvik, because he is only an agent. For example, if Jyotishtoma yaga is done by the priest, and this particular yaga, this Jyotishtoma yaga, the phalam is Swarga phalam. The Swarga phalam will go to the Yajamana who has engaged the priest. The only benefit the priest gets is the dakshina for performing, officiating in the karma. And therefore, one way to understand who is the Yajamana is the one who gets the karma phalam is called Yajamana, especially when he has taken Diksha. Strictly speaking, Yajamana means is the name of the ritualist at the time of performance of the ritual. But in such cases where the Yajamana does not even know how to pronounce the Sanskrit words, even though the priest is performing the rituals on behalf of the Yajamana, the status of the Yajamana as Yajamana does not change. And once the ritual is completed, he cannot be called Yajamana because he is no more performing the yaga. Yajamana is this. It is just like in a CEO of a company. When he is actually in that position, he is CEO. When he retires from that position, he is no longer the CEO. All these are all some aspects of the Veda mantras we have to understand. And next word in the Moolam is Lokaha. Bhashyakara explains this as Tasya Karma Phala Bhutaha. So those fields of experience which come as a result of performing the rituals or karma, for whom Tasya means the Karta, who is the Yajamana. So Tasya here means Yajamanasya. And we should note that, as we have seen earlier also, according to Shastra, all the 14 lokas come under Karma Phala. So whether one is born in Bhuloka or goes to Swargaloka or Narakam, etc., all are result of Karma Phala. Even the individual experiences we have in our life is also a result of our past karmas, either in this birth or in previous births. If it rains, it is our collective karma phalam. If it does not rain, then also it is our collective karma phalam. Samashti karma phalam. We can go on and on about all such experiences. So all lokas means all the planes of experiences, all the fields of experiences. And therefore Bhashyakara says loka means karma phala bhuta hai. Bhuta hai means in the form of. So all the 14 worlds are in the form of the result of karmas of jivas. And these 14 lokas are also born out of Ishvara only. And Bhashyakara further explains the word loka with reference to the fourth line of the mantra, which says, Somo yatra pavate yatra surya. He says, Te visheshyante somaha yatra yeshu lokeshu pavate punati lokan yatra yeshu surya tapati cha te cha dakshinayanotarayana margadvaya gamya vidvat kartuhu kartruphala bhuta hai. So that is the explanation or further expanding the word loka. What does he say? Te visishyante. Te visishyante actually is a separate sentence. In the text that I have sent, there is no full stop, so we can put a full stop there. It's a separate sentence. Or at least a semicolon we can put after visishyante. Te means those lokas are visishyante, described further, qualified further. How they are qualified? By saying somaha yatra pavate. And Bhashyakara explains as somaha yatra yeshu lokeshu pavate. So yatra refers to yeshu lokeshu. Which worlds? Soma pavate, which are purified by, activated by somaha. What is somaha? Chandra Devata, the moon. Pavate is in the Moolam. Bhashyakara says equal to Punati. Punati means purifies. So yeshu lokeshu pavate. Now there could be a doubt. Because all of us normally use some of these words like Swargaloka and also in a very general manner. Our understanding is that Swargaloka is only one loka. It is some destination. But Bhashyakara is referring to it in plural. Yeshu Lokeshu. Both the words Yeshu and Lokeshu are in plural. And therefore a question will arise. Why should Bhashyakara translate what is singular as a plural number? For that, our answer is Swarga is a generic name for different worlds. Within Swarga itself, there are many divisions. We come to know from Taittiriya Upanishad. मनुष्य गंधर्वा है, देव गंधर्व है, कर्म देवा है, आजान देव है, etc. As I said, Taittiriya Upanishad mentions all those names. And therefore, Bhashyakara, keeping that in mind, says Swarga, uses Swarga as in plural number. Heavenly worlds. The areas or the regions of these heavenly worlds, they are purified by the Soma Devata, the Chandra Devata. So up to this, the word up to the word Lokan is the description of heavenly regions purified by Soma Devata. And there is another region also which is purified, which Bhashyakara mentions next. He says Yatra. Yatra is in the Moolam, equal to Yeshu. Another group of lokas. Surya Tapati Cha. The regions which the Surya Devata purifies. Here also he uses the plural number to indicate the upper regions, the Brahma Lokas. In fact, in the Shastra, Brahma Loka is considered to be a cluster of many lokas. Some texts say Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka are all part of Brahma Loka. And these lokas the sun purifies. And here Bhashyakara gives another categorization for the lokas purified by the moon and the sun. He says, Te cha Dakshinayana Uttarayana Marga Dvaya Gamya hai Vidvat Avidvat Kartu Phala Bhuta hai. He says one that is attained through Dakshinayana Marga or Krishna Gati. Another is attained through Uttarayana Marga or Shukla Gati. And therefore he says Te cha. Te refers to the lokas. Dakshinayana Uttarayana Marga Dvaya Gamya hai. Marga Dvayam means two paths, known as Dakshinayanam, the southern path, Uttarayanam, the northern path. So the worlds, that is Swarga, etc., which are reached by Dakshinayanam, the southern path, they are sanctified by Somaha, the moon, and the worlds which are reached by Uttarayanam, the northern path, are sanctified by Surya, the sun. Gamya means reachable, attainable. And who will go to those lokas? Not everybody. There are special candidates who only will be given the visa for going to those lokas. And who are they? Vidvat, Avidvat, Kartru. Kartru means the Vedic ritualist. So only a Vedic ritualist alone can go to these lokas. And these ritualists are also of two types. One type is called Vidvat Karta, means the one who performs the ritual along with Upasana. So here we have to understand the word Vidvat means Upasaka, the one who does Karma Upasana Samuchaya. Therefore, he is called Upasaka Karta or Vidvat Karta. And he will go to which loka? the Brahma Loka through Shukla Gati. All this we have discussed earlier in some other context. Here it is again getting repeated. Then we have got the second group known as Avidvat Karta. That means what? Anupasaka Karta. The one, a ritualist, who is only a ritualist, who does not perform upasana meditation. He does not do Saguna Ishwara Dhyanam. So Vidvat, Avidvat, Kartruphala Bhuta hai. And these two lokas are Kartruphala Bhuta hai. They are the result of the karmas which they have performed. So the Upasaka will reach Brahmaloka through Uttarayana Marga, Shuklagati, and Kevala Karmi will reach Swargaloka through Dakshinayana Marga, the Krishna Gati, as a result of their respective karmas. And all these lokas are also born of Ishvara. Now one may ask, all that is fine. What about Naraka, the lower down 7 lokas? We will discuss that in the next beginning of the next class and then go to the next mantra. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavada. Thank you all very much.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
Thank you
ಗುರುಜಿ.
very much.
Dhanyawada,
Thank
Guruji.
you. Hari Om.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Thank you.
Dhanyavada Guruji. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari
Hari
Om.
Om. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Guruji, I have a
Yes.
doubt.
Yeah. Tell me.
You said this Pratasmaranam should be chanted in the morning. Like that, Aditya Hridayam can be chanted the whole day or only during the sunrise.
Most preferably, it should be chanted at the time of sunrise. Because you are welcoming the sun. And Aditya Hridayam is a shloka which was taught to Rama. When Rama was fighting Ravana, he found it very difficult to defeat Ravana. And therefore, Agastya Muni, he goes to Rama. But Aditya Hridayam itself, those initial, in the description it comes.
Yeah, in the first
Aditya
sloka.
Hridaya Stotra Mahamantrasya Agastyo Bhagavan Rishi Anushtuchandaha Sri Adi Atma Surya Narayano Devata Nirasta Sesha Vignataya Brahma Vidyadi Siddhyarte Sarvatra Jaya Siddhyarte Jape Viniyoga. That is what it starts, right?
Yeah.
Jayatu Jayatu Surya Sapta Lokaika Deepa Kirana Shamita Papa Klesha Dukkasya Nasham. Before that itself, it says, Agastya Muni goes to Rama and advises him, chant Aditya Hridayam.
Yes.
You will get victory 100% in this. And normally when the guest comes to your house, do you go to the guest and say, welcome in the, after 2 hours of the guest coming? No, You may go and ask, how are you? And things like that. But when the guest is coming at the gate itself, you welcome the guest. Similarly, when the sunrise is taking place, most effective way is doing Aditya Hridayam at the sunrise. If you do it at sunrise and then do it other times also, no problem. It does not mean you should not do it at other times. But the best time for Aditya Hridayam is welcoming Aditya. That is all. So that is how you have to understand and you have to do.
Thank you, Guruji.
Hari Om.
Thank you. Hari Om.
In fact, I do Aditya Hridayam when I am taking my bath.
Okay.
So that actually
But,
more or less is sunrise time,
Can it be chanted before bath also without taking a
Yeah,
bath?
I mean, basically, see, one thing is there, which is only for the Vedic mantras. taking bath is essential. In fact, there are exceptions even for performing Sandhya Vandana karma, which you can do without taking bath also. The exception to the rule. Normally, you should take bath and do it. Because problem is, if you tell the exception to the people, they will follow only the exception, not the rule. So
Convenient.
people don't tell them that you can do that. They say, no, you have to take bath and do it.
Yeah.
But the Shastra contains, there are certain exceptional circumstances. Even Manasika karma also you can do Sandhya Vandana. A 90-year-old person, he has been doing Sandhya Vandanam throughout his life. Now he is bedridden, feeling guilty. I am not able to do. So Shastra says, close your eyes, do Gayatri Japam. In your mind, offer the oblations. Achyudaya, Adityam Tarpayami, Somam Tarpayami. In your mind, you do that, and Bhavanaya, you offer the oblations. All that is permitted. But if you tell this to people, they will all lie down in the bed and do all these things mentally. So Shastra doesn't give them that.
Okay.
So
Like,
lot of nuances are there. We have to understand all those nuances, but not use them for our personal convenience. That's all.
and
Okay.
like that, Shiva Manasa Puja Stotram.
Shiva Manasa Puja Stotram.
Yeah, that can be chanted anytime. Manasika.
Yeah. So normally Shiva Manasa Puja is to be chanted because Shiva Puja, the sequence,
Yeah.
you do the first Kayika Puja.
Okay.
And then you do Manasa Puja.
Mm.
It is just like, first you are doing physical activity, then you are doing a mental activity.
Mm.
So Shiva Manasa Puja is a meditative offering.
Okay.
So normally people chant Shiva Manasa Puja as if it is a regular puja, right? But Shiva Manasa Puja is supposed to be mental activity where you are actually visualizing Lord Shiva in your mind, and with your mind you are doing all the offerings.
Okay.
So I have already done physical. Now I want Chitta Shuddhi. I am using my mind to offer you the prayers. So that is the significance of Shiva Manasa Puja. We have to, if that understanding we do it, normally in all Rudrabhishekam, etc.
Yeah.
To chant Shiva Manasa, suppose you are doing Pradosha Puja at your home. Then after you do the main puja, Shiva Manasa Puja also you can chant. That's a mental activity. Just like in Sandhya Vandanam, first we do all the karmas and then we do meditation, right? Gayatri Japa meditation. Similarly, Shiva Puja you do and then Shiva Manasa Puja also you can.
So this Manasa Puja cannot be chanted vocally, loudly. It should be really Manasic.
I will not say cannot be, but that is not the purpose. That is not how it is to be chanted.
Okay.
That is why it is called Manasa Puja.
Mm.
It is not Vachika Puja. If it is Vachika Puja, you have to chant it loudly.
Yeah.
Manasa Puja, you have to chant it in your mind.
Okay.
That is why even Gayatri Japa is a Manasa Puja. You should not chant Gayatri loudly. In your mind, then only mind will get trained, no? So you see, if you want concentration, you must shut down all other faculties. Eyes should be closed. Mouth should be closed. Then all your energy will be focused towards your mind. And then mind will get trained to focus. That's the purpose. That is how all these things are designed, rather. All that we have to understand. What is the purpose? Why am I doing this? If you understand, then if you are doing it for getting Chitta Shuddhi, Manasa Puja should be done with Manas, not with Kaika Puja or Vachika Puja.
Okay.
So 3 types of pujas are there.
Yeah. Kaika,
Kaika
Manasika.
Puja, and then Kaika Puja, Vachika Puja, and Manasa Puja. You cannot do, what is to be done with your doing a Namaskara. Kaika Namaskara. With Manasa, I have done, in my mind, I have done Namaskara to you. That you cannot do. You have to do namaskara properly. So like that, I have to understand all these nuances. Okay.
Thank you, Guruji.
Okay,
Thank
Hari Om, Hari Om.
you. Hari Om, Guruji.
Okay, everybody else is logged out. Sorry, logged out.
Thank
So
you,
we
Guruji.
will continue in the next class. Okay.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank
Thank you very much. Hari
Thank you,
Om.
Guruji.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you.